Drinking in tyranny. Welcome to Tormentor Radio Show on Radio Libertaire, the French Anarchist Federation station, broadcasting from Paris.
Today we're very pleased to have with us Jérôme Tcherneyan and Barkosina Hanusova, the two heads of the electronic band Years of Denial. Hi Barkosina.
Hello.
Hi Jérôme.
Hello.
Hello, guys.
How are you?
We are very well. It's extremely hot in here, so we are melting. Studio is melting, but we are great. How are you doing, guys?
Oh, great. It's hot in here also. So right now you're talking to us from the south of France, near Marseille, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. We are in a small village, and that's where we create at the moment from.
Before we start the first questions, we'll present the first three titles from Years of Denial we've been listening to. The first is Endurance from Suicide Disco LP on VEYL 2019. Then Cold Blooded Hands on Body Map EP on Pinkman 2019 also. And Grief from your last LP, Human Tragedy, on Modular Mind in 2020.
So we will start with the beginnings of the band. And when did you start the band initially?
Well, we met in 2016, late 2016. We met in this underground party, Chaos London.
Yeah.
In Electroworks, where we both DJ'd, and that's where we met. And we just started to chat and spend some time together, and something was going on. There was some chemistry with our musical taste. We were exchanging a lot of sound and saying, "Wow, how can you know? How do you know this song? Nobody knows it." And we just something was happening, some stuff, and we just were spending some more time together. And then we tried to record a few tracks just for fun at the beginning. And it was pretty fast. Jérôme was just playing his beats, and I was singing some stuff into it, and it was working. And then
we actually played live.
Yeah.
Before even recording once. Yeah, we were offered. I think we met like 2 or 3 months or something.
Mm-hmm.
I did a bit of. Barca is a performer, so I was doing music live for performances. Then I was offered a gig in France, and I was like, let's do it together. So we kind of wrote tracks in a week and just perform booths, and then we started to record actually.
Then we started to record, and we had our first track was released on Death and Leisure, which was we operate on each other, which is one of them. It actually, people really like that track, and we didn't expect it to get any feedback from it. And
Oliver was really very grateful, with the label and.
Oliver Ho from Broken English Club, right?
Yeah.
You knew him at the moment?
Yeah, I knew him. I used to organize events in London, and he was coming to my party quite often. So we get, Then actually we had a project together as well. So I was playing drum with him.
Yeah.
That's before his Broken English time.
Mm-hmm.
Then. And then when he heard what we did, he offered straight to release it, which was very good for us. We never had to deal with searching for labels or stuff like that. Everything went very smoothly. Every releases we've done, it was like just people we've met, or connections were there. So we never sent tracks to anybody actually. Somehow this is like
at first we were just experimenting and just having fun, there was this sense of naivety and playfulness where you just purely create and you are not thinking about the outcome of it. And when some releases started to come out, we had incredible feedback, people really loved it. And after it started to be a bit more serious, we got deeper into what, more analyzing what we are actually doing, because at the beginning it's really just, okay, let's have some fun. You play, I sing, we do few gigs, even the gig, we could be super free, luckily, where you can express yourself as you want. You can make mistakes, you can fail, you can have fun. It's great, there's no pressure. So that's how it began.
So you were in the same place at the same moment, and you had common tastes and influences to begin with. Which one, for example?
Very obscure stuff.
Yeah.
For example, African head charge, Muslim ghost.
Yeah.
Not actually electronic body music, but we used to. I would come to Jerem's place, or he would come to my place, and we hear a track, and we're like, "Wow, how do you know this music?" And just really obscure stuff, right?
Oh, we are really into obscure and unpopular stuff here, so it's it rings a bell.
Yeah.
Jérôme, before Years of Denial, you were the drummer of the London collective Piano Magic since the years 2000. So how did you evolve from drums to electronic music and the machines?
Well, I kind of started to produce electronic in like mid-90s. So I just had a very small setup at the time. And I was making that music, but for myself, really keep drumming. Then I started to produce some of the Piano Magic stuff as well. And when the band stopped in 2016, actually, in December 2016, that was our last gig. I decided to focus more on electronic, really.
Yeah.
I miss drumming, to be honest, because it's still my instrument. But yeah, so I was always there, It's like the sound I've usually released lately as a Supreme Low is kind of the sound I was doing in the 90s,
Yeah.
I was into like Scorn, Techno Animal, that kind of dubby industrial sound.
We can hear that, yeah. And so you met, the two of you were DJs at Chaos London.
Yeah.
Jérôme, you played the drums, and Barkosina, you were at the time you had started your performance art as well, yeah?
Yeah, at the time I was performing around London. I was part of an art collective. We were organizing art events with performance art, music, theater, spoken word, dance. And I was doing a random work and traveling a bit around, finishing my degree at Goldsmiths, theater arts. In terms of music, I was DJing in Chaos, and I also had a radio show, just creating very obscure mixes in the studio, and more discovering that I actually like to put together some music, maybe potentially dance music. So I was doing that, that was it. And then some projects with musicians, but like really rarely, more like studio kind of thing, that you're going to a rehearsing studio and you're just having fun in the afternoon, nothing serious. Just jamming.
And raving.
Raving too?
Jamming and raving, of course. First you are the raver, then you are mature enough, so you become the creator.
Yeah. Jérôme, you raved a lot in south of France?
No. You mean at the time when I was here, or nowadays?
Yeah. At the time.
Not really, because to be honest, in the I was exposed to the raves and stuff, but that wasn't my sound really, you know. So I will go to events, and I never got into, some of the sounds really. So I was still like a rock head, getting into that. I was aware of Basic Channel, this kind of thing, but that wasn't the sound at all that was played in parties. So no, I wasn't into it took me a while actually.
Yeah.
I bought my desk in 99 or something.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I really start to get a bit more, okay, but club stuff.
Yeah.
Before that, the sound didn't talk to me. At least the parties here,
Mm-hmm.
And then back in London, yeah.
Sure.
That was a different sound there. Yeah.
So you were too influenced and living in the London underground scene. Barkosina, did you know the underground scene in the Czech Republic? Did you live in there? Sorry.
Well, I grew up in a really unusual family setting, let's say.
Yeah.
Quite hardcore, a bit artistic. It was, my parents, they were all living under communist regime, so they had to hide art. Actually, when you talk about underground, that's the real underground, isn't it? Because now these days, underground doesn't really exist because we are pretty much free to do what the fuck we want to do. So back then, you couldn't actually you couldn't do anything. My father was in a band and he was rewriting national songs to punk songs, criticizing the government and the politics, and they would be banned from everywhere. So every article or every event that they were doing, they had to pretty much hide it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was growing up in this environment, and I was seeing bands and unusual places when I was a kid. I didn't understand what was going on, but there was some artistic stimulation happening. And as a teenager, we had a free party in Czech Republic, at the time. So as a teenager, it was a lot of free hard tech parties, Czech tech, when the police came, and that was my first and last Czech tech actually. When the police came and just closed it down, they were throwing gas at us, and we had to run away. And I was with my dad; he took me there. So I was going to these places, and then just cabarets and different raves. Czech Republic is really popular more in terms of the rave.
Yeah.
It's jungle and drum and bass. Yeah. Like we don't really have much techno there.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting
the hard tech,
We have the hard tech, but it's like it's different,
The only band we know here, I know personally, is Fractions.
Oh, Fractions.
Fractions, yes, they play.
Fractions on the
on Fleisch Records.
Yeah, and on Byte as well.
We played him lately.
You see, I never met them. I just bought a track from them yesterday.
Yeah,
I never knew they are from Czech Republic.
I didn't know it was.
Oh my god!
Well, maybe I may be wrong, but I assume that they are from Czech Republic.
No, I don't. From the scene that we are at the moment, I don't actually know anyone from the past, like who's been going through that same cycle of music events and places. But yeah, it was like a jungle drum and bass or hard tech, and my father played vinyl. My brother was playing vinyl, and I was just on the mic, and just trying to come up with words. I was like 16, 17 years old, and we used to have a lot of reggae MCs spitting into a mic during a jungle rave. So the mic was always there, and I used to jump on the stage unexpectedly and just say a few things with invented English. So this was my kind of thing, but it wasn't really influenced because when I moved to London, when I was like 21, so that's like another cycle of your life, It's like you really grew up. So that's where I discovered a lot of music from my dad, like a lot of industrial bands, but living in London was completely different education. It was like really rich, you don't get that in Czech. That's why we are in Czech Republic, we are so late with all the stuff that's coming out.
It's time to have a little musical break, and we will play 3 tracks from the discography of Years of Denial. The first will be Genocide Cheat from Human Tragedy LP, then Love Come and Goes on Body Map, and then I'm Still a Pill on Suicide Disco. So welcome back to Tormentor Radio Show. We are still with Years of Denial on the phone from Marseille.
Okay, so we've been listening to some of your tracks, and what is fascinating in Years of Denial is that the sound is very immersive, very atmospheric, and yet very danceable, dance floor oriented. Some titles are quite industrial, others are dance floor hits, and some are both. So how do you achieve that?
I think we are interested in ambient, immersive sound, as well as in more ravey dance stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to balance it off because, you know, it's great to make dance music.
Yeah.
It's fruitful, but then from artistic perspective, you want to fill your heart and your brain with something else. So it's been always essential for us to experiment with other genre, right?
Yeah.
For me, I don't know, it's like we play music every day, you know, so we can't just keep, you know, one or the other. So we might have a beat and it becomes a track, but it might just become immersive, you know. I think it's the dub approach to it is what creates the kind of dreamy elements to it, even on the voice, you know, the space we try to create. But it's not really conscious to say, like, let's make this or this. That we, you know, we play every day, so...
But we, from the beginning, we were creating dance performances and also ambient performances. We played in London in a few places and then in Amsterdam. But maybe nobody knows much about the ambient performances because it's really hard to get gigs like this, you know. It should be either in art galleries or, you know, it costs much more money. It's much more difficult to make it happen. So you obviously, you know, people who like our stuff, they know more about the other side. But if it would be possible, we would love it. You know, it's we always liked it at the beginning to experiment with darker ambient and.
We had some very nice events back in London. I forgot the name of the party.
Yes.
Basically, it was an Italian, Spanish guy. I mean, whatever. He was curating like techno artists, let's say, and asking them to do like more like ambient sets, you know. So we will play theaters or cinemas.
Yeah.
And so we played with like Codex Empire. Same, he was doing ambient. So we were all like in a different environment than the usual club, you know. With Samuel Kerridge, with the guys from Modular Mind as well, Amsterdam. We had this kind of events. It's more intimate, you know, but I like it as well, you know, more visuals and people seated, you know, nobody's expected to dance. So
yeah, it would be great to do it like, you know, it would be great to do it in the church, you know, when we did it once.
We played once,
yeah, we did it once in fucking hell, what is the name? Dronica Festival. It's Dronica Festival in London.
In London,
been guys, check them out because they've been doing a lot of good stuff. They've been inviting a lot of interesting artists, and the gig we did was in the church. So imagine the acoustics.
Yeah. Oh, please do that in France, please.
Oh yeah, invite
us. One of the tracks from Human Tragedy was recorded there in that church. It's a recording of the performance.
Oh, which one?
Devil, no?
No. The Johnny one, the long one.
I don't know. Endurance that is now on Suicide is no.
So you're
the 8 is like 8 minutes or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
So you're experimenting a lot, you're researching a lot, you have, we can hear in your music that you have an open-minded on other stuff or a style. It's and about experimenting, I've read in the very good interview you had with the German website Schwarzes Bayern that, Jérôme, you begin each day experimenting with machines, immersing yourself in sound. And Barkosina told me your musical lab is like a submarine or a spaceship. So basically, you're a mad scientist exploring sound.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Exactly.
I don't know. I might be mad. I don't know about the scientist part. I guess it's becoming an obsession, you know?
Yeah.
It's a bit, it's a tricky life. But yeah, it's been a while. I'm kind of loop a bit. So,
And
yeah.
speaking of music, we have got a more trivial question. What kind of hardware do you have to process your songs?
Oh my God, we're gonna be here until tomorrow if you have to name all the gear.
Wow.
No.
So
We're gonna try to make it short. Go on.
To process,
to create your sound. You have some modular things or some...
Yeah, some modulars. We used to have a Pro One. On Suicide Disco, you hear a lot the Pro One from sequential circuits.
Mm-hmm.
SH101, I don't know, 707, Vermona drum machines.
So it's...
Been obsessed with distortion and fuzz lately, more than ever actually.
A lot of pedals.
A lot of all
pedals.
type of echoes.
Yeah.
Analog, digital, tape.
And we work with hardware, but we record everything in Ableton,
Mm-hmm.
and then we finish everything mixing wise. It's done in Ableton. But I mean,
we still mix on the desk, you know. Once everything is in Ableton, I put it back to the console and mix it all in the console.
Yeah.
It's still the very dub approach.
And on stage, Barkosina, you play a very strange instrument made of metal sticks. It looks like a metallic bush or a broom. Is it like a theremin or?
No. It's basically we fell in love with this guy from Texas. His name is Electro Lobotomy. And he's doing
this weird
crazy
instrument.
shit, man. You can't imagine, what the fuck? He's doing this, but it's beautiful. Basically, he's doing like this. He did this springboard that you can, everything's got a contact mic. You can plug it. You can put it through a different process, different pedals to have a different sound. And the thing that
you're talking in part, because we have few from him, but the one you saw us playing live
guitar
strings. Yeah, it's actually guitar strings and bass strings attached sold to a box, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you use that to create like dissonance. We play it with the bow as well and process it through the modular.
I use the bow. We process it, and we when we were experimenting in the studio, we process it, and we just find out like, whoa, you can create this beautifully high-pitched sound that it's like, wow. And it works really well when you have a spacious place as well. And so it's Electro Lobotomy from Texas, guys.
Okay. Very interesting guy, it seems.
He's gonna love it. Promotion. Maybe he's gonna give us the instrument for free.
So the work on sound is very important to you, and from your first EP in 2016, Blood Depths, which is very hard to find, by the way. I had very much trouble to find it, but the sound has refined. It has become more profound, and also the work on your voice, Barkosina, has also improved to the haunting voice signature, which has become very recognizable today, almost with the spoken word approach.
The Blood Depths you're talking about? That's not me.
Okay, so. We were not sure about that. In fact.
Yeah, that's not me. That's an opera singer.
Okay.
Her name is Maya. What's the surname? Maya Petrovna.
Yeah.
It's a wonderful performance artist and a very talented opera singer. And Jerome was working. They were working together with Jerome, and they were experimenting and putting something together which Oliver wanted to release.
Yeah.
And they had to find a name. So Jérôme said, okay, Years of Denial, but they didn't actually function as a project.
No,
so when I came along,
even the way we were, it was more like a collage, you know. So I will leave her just record with herself, no music, and then build something around the voice actually. So she never sang to music or beats or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And then I will take this as not as a sample, but you know, because it's not loops, but and then do a collage with it.
Yeah.
But that was really like a studio work, you know. We never performed or rehearsed or anything.
And then I came along actually because that was very confusing. It's good that we talk about it to clarify it. Basically, I came along at the same time when the release was out on Deaf and Leisure.
Yeah.
So when we started to perform, people were like, "Oh, but what about the previous record?" And Jérôme just wanted to keep the name, which I didn't have a problem with. But the music direction changed a lot, and we always thought that people will get it, you know. But obviously, because you can hear that's very different. But of course, it's got the same name, but so
the name is great, by the way. Where does it come from? Years of Denial.
It's 2015, 100 years of denial of the Armenian genocide.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's where it came from.
Which actually, when you hear the Blood Debt, the first EP that Jérôme did with Maya, it was pretty much about that, no? Like your reference was.
I mean, the most direct song, I guess, is Genocide Shit.
Yeah, but
from Human Tragedy, which is
but then
directly
I wrote the lyrics on Genocide Shit. We did a different thing, but we kept some of that Armenian reference to Human Tragedy release.
Yeah. We're talking about the lyrics and the text. They evoke some familiar ideas and yet create a very strange atmosphere or scenes. Can you tell us about your writing process?
Well, I write every day.
Yeah.
And I collect ideas and write. You know, I have like a lot of diaries, and there is a lot of words, and my phone is full of words, and I read a lot and I write a lot. And in terms of the writing, sometimes I work with stuff that I already wrote, but then sometimes I actually try to get inspired by the music and find different themes. But yeah, I mean, it's got some story, it's got, you know, for a writer, it's like really difficult to talk about why you write what you write. You know what I mean? It's just coming out, you know.
No, I know my question is stupid. It helps expressing.
No, it's not, yeah, it's not your question. It's just like, it's almost like you feel this, you know, you're almost suffocated. And you just want to get it out, you know, and things are coming out. And I love rhymes and I love poetry, and I was always writing since I was very little. And maybe it's not good enough, but I don't care, you know, it's just some stuff that it's working. And with the music, it was really great opportunity for me to vocally express and work with sound as well. I really love it. And that's how we created first collaboration with Jérôme. I was performing, and I was, you know, I invited him. I said, can you just bring some modules and play and experiment with me? And I just had a spoken word narrative, and together it was just magical. And I also think that, you know, when you say spoken word, it's like it's so underrated, you know, it's like undermined in a way, you know. It's almost like it's got such a shit name. It's like spoken word, you know. But everybody uses it, and it's got something very interesting, you know. Laurie Anderson, Lydia Lunch, Patti Smith, Nico, William Burrow, Genesis, you know, this all like, it's just words coming out of your system, and when they are having this support, musical support, I think it's quite magical, and somehow it also works for our production. I mean, it's really weird because it's not proper singing, so you have electronic dance music and you have spoken word, and it's like, but it works, you know.
Yeah, spoken word is sound, so you can.
Yeah.
It is sound, so it's music also.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's sometimes difficult, you know, because we play in a different environment. If we play more club rave environment, you know, people go there to lose themselves, to not think, but then the words keeps reminding you that you are here, you know. So it's a little bit difficult. I think sometimes it doesn't come across, but the live show is so energetic and vital that I think it's good. It works. Yeah.
Time for a new musical break, and we are now going to listen to 3 new titles from Years of Denial. First is Body Map from the last Body Map EP on Pinkman. Then 2 titles
about Body Map. What is it about? A body map.
Body Map is just a selection of tracks we were creating at the time of.
Oh no! I'm talking about the track Body Map.
The track itself.
The text. It reminded me of something cyberpunk or
Cronenberg.
Or Cronenberg. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's like
Body Map. No, it was
our bodies, our box, our jail. You know, it's like our prison.
Body Map was it was about actually it was, I wrote it inspired by going to Chaos, where I met a lot of wonderful, mature, older generation who were experimenting with gender and body changes, and I never came across people like that, and I was just so blown away. They were such a beautiful people, and in London, you know, that's why they were going to Chaos, right? Because during the day it's very difficult for them to just exist, you know. Now it's getting better in 2022, but you know, that was it. It was inspiration from that, actually. So what is our body and what is our gender?
Okay, thank you.
So let's continue the playlist. So after Body Map, we will listen to Tetu, issued on Process of Rhetoric Volume 1 on Tales Collective on 2018, and then Oh Boy on the Craig Festival Compilation Volume 2, issued by Craig Festival in 2020.
Island.
We are back with Years of Denial on Tormentor Radio Show, Radio Libertaire.
Your music and your text, can we say that they draw energy from the dark side of things? That you're can we say that you're a band from the night, a night band, and how is this important today?
I think there is a sense of pain.
Yeah.
And it's not a sort of pain that you know everybody needs to know about or you have to complain about. It's an internal pain that I think in art is very important. It's something that we need to talk about. It's something that we don't want to talk about, or
yeah, and I think it's but a mood really. You know, creating a mood.
Yeah.
And I see that the music I listen to, or I need that vibe. Really. It's never, whatever we try is still there. You know, we can't force it.
I think also we are just like broken souls. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think like a lot of artists are just broken souls, and you try to creativity is the ingredient of your living.
Yeah.
Of your functioning, and you can get it out through that, and a lot of people can find themselves in it. You know, it's something very beneficial when that happens, and something goth, something, you know, it's something that you're not afraid talking about death, about not actually talking about death. It's more awareness that we're gonna die, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We're all gonna die. Everybody celebrates birth, you know. Everybody's like, yeah, the birth, you know, let's get presents. And when the funeral comes, everybody's like, yeah, well, let's dress in black and cry. And it's actually also it should be also a celebration. It's just part of a cycle. And I think that every amazing artwork, you know, that I came across comes from pain. You know, it's a performance artist like Hermann Nitsch, Joseph Beuys, Karoli Schneemann. It's like a lot of Vito Acconci. You know, it's things that are so natural, and we live through them every day. And
but things that are muted in normal life.
Yeah, depend on the society.
Yeah.
We've been super lucky because, you know, it really depends where you move. We've been always moving in an environment as well, again, thanks to chaos. You know, it was just an environment that these things can breathe. They can actually live, you know. No one is afraid of them. And, yeah. It's, I mean, any band, no? Like any band that you like, if it's Bauhaus, if it's Suicide, if it's Nico, if it's Coil, all this, you know, all this music comes from a vulnerable place and darkness, and you know, you shining some light to it, and it's something that is more touching, isn't it? Because if you create work that is happy, happiness is some sort of stimulation that lasts for a few minutes, but pain lasts forever. You know, it's not just one thing that comes and goes. It's actually that's the realistic view, right? Like we all struggle in some ways. So I guess it all comes from there.
So that's
broken little soul.
That's the romantic part of your work, or the
exactly
existentialist part of your
existentialist. Yeah.
You were influenced by philosophy?
Yeah, you are influenced a lot, no, Jérôme?
Now more than ever. Yeah, not in the past, I have to say. I neglected a lot of.
But now you read a lot.
No, yeah.
Oh, who do you read?
But yeah, I'm now more than ever.
Yeah.
Philosophy. Yes, I mean, there are some existentialists that I like and I draw inspiration, but I do not really dig into what they wrote. You know, it takes a lot of time, and it's not that I would spend time on it a lot. But it is something that is natural, no? If you think about what philosophy means, I think we are all philosophers in a way. If you spend time of thinking of your actions in your life and what you do, if you actually have the awareness of thinking about it, then for me, you're a philosopher. I don't know what I just said, but hopefully
it's okay. But let's go back about the importance of art and creativity. It seems central in all you're saying, and it's central in your last personal project, Barkosina, Fasting Culture, which presents itself as an art book with a musical counterpart. And we'll play two tracks from Fasting Culture right now. But can you tell us more about Fasting Culture, about what it tackles with and.
Well, we were in pandemic. Began, and we were exactly where we were in the mountains.
During the lockdown, we moved to the mountains.
We were in the mountains, we were pretty lucky, to be honest. That's a privilege. And we were in the mountains in a little flat. And the initial idea was a mixture of the pandemic, the feeling of the pandemic, and my fasting practice. So I've been practicing fasting for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. I do these fasting sessions up to 7 days because I'm quite hedonistic person. I love to enjoy life fully. And so I started to practice it to just leave my organs alone and regenerate myself. So I was doing this process, and then during the pandemic I done another fasting, and I felt the feeling of emptiness that you get from it. I felt that it was the exact same emptiness as for us being locked in this indoor and not being able to use the cultural space, which was completely logical. Obviously, you have to shut down everything, but the cultural landscape was the first to be shut down and the last to be reopened. You know, there was our governments were not really putting much importance to it, and so I felt that there was some sort of analogy going on that. The artist without the cultural space is starving. Because they can't live without it. That's the only way they can survive in this organism. So I decided to fast in every lockdown and create at the same time, write poetry, text, write music, and be just spontaneous and put it as a work and release it. And Modular Mind really liked it, so they put it out, which is great. So it's out as a hardcover book and a tape.
So we'll play tracks from it. But obviously we can't show it to our listeners. But did you take the photographs of the book also?
Jérôme helped me.
Okay.
Because we were at that time of taking the photographs, we moved to another house, and we discovered a really old room with wallpaper, like really old wallpaper, and I just spent days in this room during the fasting, and I just wanted to create some images that can express the cultural hunger. The hunger for cultural engagement, and I staged and directed the images, and of course I could not do it myself, so Jérôme was taking the pictures, and he's done a marvelous, beautiful job. Like, he was really with me, working really with me and being part of the process, and he took the photographs that are in the book. And by the way, there are still some copies. Go on Modular Mind.
And on your Bandcamp page we can find it. For all the people interested in your performance art, there are many videos on the net, and there's even a 2021 Danish documentary on your work. It's called Contradictions.
Yes, there is a film. I've been doing a lot of work, some site-specific work. For example, having breakfast on London Bridge in the middle of the road during rush hour, or standing in front of Westminster Parliament topless with barbed wire, protesting against Brexit, or some indoor performance activity wearing pig mask and destroying a computer to talk about a love relationship between human and technology. Or I would tie my ankles and my wrists with bungee ropes and run forward, but being pulled back constantly, talking about addiction and repetition. So a lot of different work, and I met this director, Mai Rafferty from Denmark, and she was very interested in what I was doing, and she wanted to make a film. So we spent a lot of time in London trying to put it together, and we featured 5 of my works, the major works that I have, and tried to put it as a film and try to create the relationship between performance art and film. Which was very difficult, because you want to avoid the side of documentary, but at the same time it's documentary because you're documenting somebody's work, or because you perform performance art pieces that are always very different, They are not staged, it's not theater. So
but also in performance art the public has to be there to have to feel. It's very important.
And we had the public. When we were filming the performances, we would hire a studio and we would invite a few people to watch it while we were filming it. So it wasn't like I was performing it on my own. And but the film is really old, It came out only now because Mai Rafferty, she's a very great director. She's a perfectionist, so it took many years before she came to a final edit. So it's from the year of 2017, no? 15 or something like that. Before, no? Yes, because years of denials. My God, the time is flying. We're getting old.
Yeah. Okay, now it's Jérôme's turn. we about the personal projects. Last month you issued an EP under your moniker Supreme Law, with a more hip-hop orientation, with a rapper named Sensational. Can you tell us more about it?
Well, this came out now. Again, it was recorded in London in 2016 with him. I told you I started to produce in the 90s. Those guys from basically Sensational is on a label called Word Sound, So everything that was coming out on that label, I was a big fan. That's why I bought my sampler, and started to produce. Then I saw him like late 90s supporting Techno Animal in Lyon. We started to chat there. I saw him again, 2001 in New York. So we kept seeing each other, But we knew something was going to happen, but it was a matter of time. So when he actually played London, he called me and said, listen, I have 2 days, just do it. So grabbed the opportunity and recorded the tracks at my place in Hackney Wick, East London.
And you said it was in 2016?
Yeah.
Okay.
Then complemented with, I was very grateful for Oliver to contribute to the release as well, because he's a big fan of Sensational as well. I have to say I'm really happy with the whole release. Don't know if he sells much, but VEYL took the chance, and I'm glad it's out, Then we see what's happening with it. But at least this is done. Oliver is on board, Barka is there. Patrick Hypnoskull was a massive fan of Sensational as well. So when I asked him, he was really up for it. And Thomas from VEYL. So it's nice for me. It's a nice little thing that we put all together, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll listen to that right now.
Time to let the listener discover some of the titles. So first we will play some Fasting Culture tracks, two of the album also called Fasting Culture. First is Imagining Things, then Never Ending. Then two titles from Supreme Law meets Sensational with Hash and The World featuring Barkosina, sorry. And we will finish the musical pause with Now Here from Suicide Disco, Years of Denial title, of course.
I wanted to play this track Now Here because I think it's the more gothic of your titles, yeah.
You might like the next album then, Jean-François.
Okay, great.
Okay, so
that's we're going that way.
Great.
Wow.
We are back on Radio Libertaire, Tormentor radio show featuring Years of Denial.
Let's talk about the future a little bit. You tour a lot from the United Kingdom to Eastern Europe. You were in Tbilisi recently. You seem to love the scene, and your performances are very intense. Where will you go next on stage? And
we're taking it's not really of a choice. We didn't get much booking this summer.
Yeah.
But we're taking the opportunity to finish the album.
Yeah.
Which should be out in November. Or November, December, it depends on how it's going with the pressing. But it will be an album for VEYL.
Yeah.
It will be Suicide Disco Volume 2. And the next gigs are in September.
The future looks like around the autumn season, we should have a new show, new live set. So we will try to push it and try to play it as much as we can, create some videos with it, and we're going to just play it anywhere we can. So that's the future. We're gonna play it. We're gonna play more. I mean, it was good. The tour was very good now. We really needed it because we had a great tour planned just when the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And this was actually the time where we were, most of the stuff was rebooking. So we play that, and we're just gonna keep playing. So future looks very bright with a lovely darkness.
Great.
Because I think it's gonna be great. We just can't wait to prepare the new life. Familiar, unfamiliar tracks, and more adventurous maybe, we don't know. And we also have 2 different live sets depending where we play, because we are quite you could play it in a dark club late hours, but you could also play it as a concert. So we're gonna try to have 2 different live sets and try to take more advantage of the fact that we can actually be as a live band. It doesn't have to be late hours.
Yeah. Did you play like that recently as a concert band?
Yeah, in Berlin.
In Berlin, it was the most concert one. Yeah.
What 10:30, 11?
Yeah.
It's Philip Strobel event at Urban Spree on Sunday night. So yeah, I really like playing with, it's different. We can change tempo. We don't have to think of just dancing,
Mm-hmm.
So we can. It's just different.
We have sometimes also requests. I actually wanted to say this because sometimes you get a booking request and they say, "Oh, I want you to play this side of that project." But it's great to say it, because then we played in Italy. It was a lovely gig. It was very small and very intimate, like 200 people, but it was beautiful, and the guy was more into that goth rock side of what we do. So we were just playing those tracks, and we love it. So if anyone wants it, email Antonia@alteragency.com.
Can you repeat it?
Antonia@alteragency.com for the rave and for the concert.
Okay.
But you mentioned Tbilisi earlier in Georgia, which was one of our latest. It was quite an amazing experience, actually.
Yeah.
Because we had played big clubs, but this is much bigger than anything we played before, And when you have that amount of people, and we played 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
It was the anniversary, so it was people were up for it. Ancient Method was playing after us.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I played 12 hours set. 12 hours.
12 hours. Tbilisi seems it seems huge. Tbilisi, I'd love to go there.
Yeah.
It's the club. They inviting a lot of Berlin scene.
Yeah.
So you've got a lot of people, taking that part of Europe into that and presenting it. So it's really good. It's a huge club. It's very mellow, in a way. It's not as wild.
Yeah.
Because I think the rules and precautions are a bit harder than in anywhere else in Europe. So they are not as crazy wild, but it's beautiful. It's people really going there because they are dedicated to. They have an interest in music. They don't really go there to get off their head because they can't, because the government is pretty hardcore over there. But they really go there with a spliff, bottle of what was the bottle that they drink that? With some alcohol, but they really listen. They go there to educate themselves. Sonically.
And they also have great producers coming from there and DJs. So the scene is really strong.
Very good, huh?
Oh, there, the scene is pretty strong.
You recently, sorry. Recently,
we love to go back.
Okay, you love to go back. I'm so sorry. You recently played in Ukraine and Russia just before the war broke out. How is it affecting you right now?
Right now it doesn't affect us, but when we were there, we played Ukraine before, 2 weeks before the war, and everybody was really positive, like nobody was expecting that this would happen, and so it was very heartbreaking when we returned and we realized that it's happening. But at the same time, after that, we were in Russia, and all the Russian artists were really depressed about the situation, like hopeless. So we have friends from both sides, and we just felt really heartbroken. The life of these people completely changed on both sides, and both concerts were really good. It was really, really emotional, like really, the people. It was very touching on both sides. So we are very sad for the situation, and this. What can you say, right? It's horrible.
Okay, on this sad note, maybe I think we'll. This is the end of the broadcast, but if you have something you want to say at last. It's your chance.
Well, we are very happy that we were invited. Thank you so much. We hope that our audience will, and your audience, our audience will enjoy it.
I'm sure of that.
And yes, just keep your eyes open. Suicide Disco Volume 2 is gonna come probably around autumn. And we hope to gig it a lot and spread it all over.
Okay, we'll help you with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Great. And we hope to see you soon. We'll have the 3 last songs of the broadcast, which Benjamin will present, but I wanted to talk about the last one. It's the cover you made for the tribute to Bauhaus, published by Unknown Pleasure Records and Soil and Industrial Complex this year. The cover of the song All We Ever Wanted, and it's one of the most moving songs about the working class, and I think it's a great way to say goodbye. And
we love that one.
Yeah, and your cover is great, by the way.
So thank you.
Thank you.
So it is time to end this broadcast, and thank you very much from me for this moment with us. And we are going to play the last 3 songs to accompany us through the end of the radio show. The first will be L'amour, la mort on Human Tragedy, then Rêverie from the compilation Murder 2. It is a Georgian label, if I am not mistaken.
Exactly.
And All We Ever Wanted on Tribute to Bauhaus Honoris 3 on Unknown Pleasure Records.
Bye-bye and thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.
surveillance.